Alright degenerates, with The Boys Season 5 around the corner, I've decided to do something completely sane and not all unhinged. I'm going to be ranking every main character by their percentage chance of dying. Because let's be honest, in this show, surviving is harder than keeping your clothes clean at Herogasm. Now, before we get into the video, I gotta lay down some ground rules so nobody cries in the comments. I'm only ranking the main characters. So that means no one episode legends, and yes, no love sausage.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I know, we all love him. The man's got range, like incredible range. But we gotta keep this realistic and focused, or this video is gonna be 3 hours long and demonetized in 5 different countries. So we're only gonna talk about the core cast, the ones who actually matter and whose death would emotionally wreck us or make us cheer. And before we dive in and start assigning death percentages, like we're running a superhero insurance company, can we absolutely destroy that like button? Let's aim for 100 likes. Now that's done, let's get straight on into it. Alright, now let's talk about the tier list itself, because we're not just throwing darts at the board here. This is a scientific, highly professional, absolutely not biased ranking system. We've got 5 tiers, less than 5%. This person is basically untouchable. Plot armor so thick it could stop Homelander's lasers. They're surviving like Mr. Immortal. You could drop a building on them and they'd walk it off. 30%. Probably not dying, but there's still a small chance. The Boys is not a safe place, so don't get comfy when I put somebody in 30%. 50%. This is coin flip territory. Heads they live, tails they fucking die. 70%. Yeah, they're probably cooked. Most likely kicking the bucket. It would actually be shocking if they actually didn't die. But yeah, sometimes the show pulls off a surprise trauma and keeps them around just to suffer longer. 99%. Oh yeah, they're done. Finito. Spiritually already attending their own funeral. So that's the system. Clean, simple, and brutal. Now let's start ruining some fictional lives. Alright, let's talk about the greatest character in The Boys, in Ashley.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
The CEO of Vought International in The Boys for a bit. But then she ends up on Homelander's hit list. So what does she do? She injects herself with Compound V, turning her into deformed Johnny Sins. Now yeah, it's unclear if she actually survived that injection. She looked like she was about to speedrun death, but this show loves cliffhangers. Still, even if she did survive, she's on borrowed time. Homelander doesn't forget, he doesn't forgive, he deletes. Ashley is sitting at a clean 99% chance of dying in Season 5. Now let's talk about the human ice cube himself, Stan Edgar. This man run Vought International like a chess grandmaster. He is calm, calculated, never sweating, even when staring down Homelander like he was a misbehaving toddler. But that's the issue. Homelander does not like being talked down to, and Stan loves talking down to him. I can totally see Stan getting a little too confident, thinking he can still control him, still play puppet master. Maybe he believes he's untouchable, and he tries to talk sense into Homelander. But Homelander holds a grudge, and will probably kill him. But Stan is smart, so there is a chance he could survive, but not a good chance. So I've got him at a 70% chance of dying. Next up we have Stan Edgar's granddaughter and Victoria Newman's kid, Zoe Newman. Genetically, yes, she might be a problem. We already saw she got powers, and while they're not exactly the same head-popping nightmare fuels as her mother's, she's still dangerous. But here's the thing, she's still a kid, and as insane The Boys is, they usually don't go full villain mode on children. Usually. This show is wild, but it's not that wild, most of the time. I don't really see her dying unless she tries to step in and help somebody, and gets caught in the crossfire. And honestly, she might not even show up in Season 5. They could easily sideline her. So I've got Zoe at a 30% chance of dying. Talk about the most dangerous puberty case alive, Ryan. Could he die? Yeah, maybe. Not likely, but I can totally see Homelander getting annoyed and deciding fatherhood isn't for him anymore. In the trailer, we see him beating up somebody that could be Ryan, but probably one of Soulja Boy or Butcher, if I'm being honest. Also, there's one more scenario I think Ryan might die, if Billy Butcher goes full revenge mode. Ryan did kill Mallory, and Butcher is hanging on by a mental thread. But Butcher did make a promise to his wife, and for all the chaos in his head, I think that's one thing he won't break. He'll probably still try his best to save Ryan, even if Ryan killed Mallory. Well, we will see. Anyway, I think Ryan, same as Zoe, has a 30% chance of dying. Alright, let's dip into the Gen V side of things. because yeah, they might not even show up in season 5, but if they do, it's gonna matter. First up, the bloodbending menace herself, Marie. Power-wise, she's insane. Based on potential alone, she might be the second strongest, maybe even the strongest soup in the whole boys universe. Controlling blood is crazy. She's one of the only soups who can realistically match Homelander, and that automatically puts a target on her back. Homelander doesn't like competition, especially the kind that can pop him from the inside out. I could see him killing her because she's too powerful. I could also see her sacrificing herself to stop him. Or wild option, she's the one who actually kills him. All three feel possible. That's why she's sitting right at a 50% chance of dying. She's either walking into the final battle or walking into her own funeral. Alright, let's talk about Marie's lover, Jordan Lee. I really thought Jordan was actually going to die in Gen V Season 2. Not gonna lie. Especially when Marie and Jordan were fighting. I thought Marie was actually accidentally gonna kill Jordan. But I feel like that could happen in The Boys Season 5 as well, where Marie accidentally kills Jordan. So, I have Jordan at a 50% chance of dying. Now let's talk about the walking moral roller coaster, Cate Dunlap. She went good, then villain mode. Now she's kind of back in her maybe I feel bad about it era. With Cate, anything can happen. Her alignment switches faster than Wi-Fi in a basement. And honestly, for a full redemption arc to hit, someone like her usually has to die. And out of all the Gen V kids, I think she is the most likely to die. Maybe a sacrifice play, or she ends up switching sides to Homelander's side and the Gen V kids have to kill her. So in my opinion, she has a 70% chance of dying. Now let's talk about Polarity, Andre's dad. First off, respect. Man's been through it. I really thought he was finished in Gen V, but Marie clutched up and saved him. Now heading into season 5 of The Boys, he might not even have a big role, and that's exactly why he's in danger. When a character isn't essential to the plot, they're either background decoration or emotional collateral. I've got Polarity at a 50% chance of dying. Now let's talk about the tiny but mighty one, Emma Meyer. Honestly, I doubt they kill her. She's too lovable, too chaotic, in the best way, and her powers are visually insane. Giant Emma alone is box office television. But if season 5 gets dark, and it will, she could get caught in something way bigger than her, literally and figuratively. Still, compared to others, she feels safe. That's why she has a 30% chance of dying. Now let's talk about the unhinged Superman cosplay, Sam Reardon. Emma's friend, lover, situationship, honestly, it's complicated with them. The man barely understands his own emotions half the time. Sam is crazy powerful, like top tier strength, one of the strongest soups we've seen physically. Taking him down wouldn't be easy. You're not just walking up and pressing delete, but mentally he's unstable. And this is a universe, unstable plus powerful usually equals tragic ending. I've got him at a 50% chance of dying. Alright, the last one from Gen V, Annabeth Monroe, Marie's little sister. Now yeah, she's not really a main character, and I'll be surprised if we see her in season 5. But if she does show up in season 5, she's a crazy plot device. She can see the future, and I know the boys writers are going to have fun with this. But because she's younger and not directly in the frontline chaos, I don't see her being a primary target. I've got her about a 30% chance of dying. Alright, now let's talk about the main couple, Hughie Campbell and Starlight. These two are basically the emotional core of the boys. Someone in this show needs a happy ending, and it's probably them. The writers are going to put them through hell though, hospital scenes, near-death moments, but actually dying, I don't think so. They have the less than 5% chance of dying. Let's talk about the ocean's biggest embarrassment, the Peak, also known as Starlight's creepy ex-abuser, and the dumbest member of the 7. This guy has survived way longer than he should have. And every season he somehow slips through like a greasy fish nobody wants to touch, but his luck has to run out eventually. Either Homelander finally gets tired of babysitting the world's dumbest soup and lasers him out of existence, or Billy Butcher and the crew get their hands on him. He definitely has a 99% chance of dying. Now let's talk about Deep's bro, the new Black Noir.
Bro. Bro.
Yeah, the replacement version, not the original legend, just the new guy wearing the suit and pretending everything's normal. He's definitely dying. He's going to underestimate the boys and get killed pretty early on in season 5. And that's why I think he's got a 99% chance of dying. Okay, let's finish off this love triangle with Sister Sage. She's basically the smartest person on the planet, and somehow ended up running VOD International, which sounds impressive until you remember her boss is Homelander, the world's most unstable man-child with laser eyes, and that's the problem. Sage is too smart, the kind of smart that makes people nervous, especially someone like Homelander, who hates feeling controlled. Eventually he's going to realize she's 5 steps ahead of him, and once that paranoia kicks in, it's over. Homelander doesn't like people he can't dominate. So yeah, I've got Sister Sage at 99% chance of dying. Now let's talk about Firecracker, the milk person herself. Let's be honest, the only reason she's even useful is because Homelander likes his weird little milk supply. That's basically her entire job description at this point. Not strategy, not power, just dairy delivery. Because outside of that, she mostly just loud, bitter, and constantly beefing with Starlight. There are 2 ways I think she dies though. Option 1, Homelander gets annoyed, which he does about every 10 minutes, and suddenly she's red stain on the floor. Option 2, Starlight finally gets sick of the rivalry and puts her down herself. That's why I think she has a 99% chance of dying. Now let's talk about 3 members of the boys. The Frenchman, the female, and the man called Mother's Milk. And yeah, this one hurts. Why? Because of one thing. Season 5, Episode 7. The episode is literally named The Frenchman, the Female, and the Man Called Mother's Milk, like I said before. And if you know this show, when they title an episode like that, it usually means something horrible is about to happen. That screams final stand, a big sacrifice, one last mission. So yeah, I think all of them are going to die in this episode. They have a 99% chance of dying. After that sad note, let's talk about the craziest redemption arc in the show, A-Train. This dude went from absolute scumbag to someone you're actually kind of rooting for in the boys. And that's saying something. Now, here's the problem with redemption arcs though. They usually end one way, sacrifice. If A-Train really wants to complete that redemption story, the classic move is dying while saving someone. Maybe helping Hughie Campbell, maybe standing up to Homelander, something big like that. So it pains me to say, I think he has a 70% chance of dying. The only reason he's not 99% chance of dying is because they might make an A-Train spin-off show. Now let's talk about Soulja Boy. He's teaming up with Homelander in the new season, but come on, 2 giant egos like that in the same pool, one of them is getting eaten alive. Homelander isn't exactly the forgiving type, and Soulja Boy's history basically guarantees he's on borrowed time. Or he could get taken out by the boys. It could be Mother's Milk going full sacrifice mode. Either way, Soulja Boy isn't working out of Season 5 alive. He has a 99% chance of dying. And finally, we have the best characters in the boys, Homelander and Billy Butcher. And honestly, they're both cooked. The way I see it, there's no way this saga ends without one or both of them dropping. Either they finally go at each other in a full-blown apocalyptic showdown, or Butcher somehow kills Homelander and becomes the new main villain, hunting down the rest of the Supes and trying to kill them with the virus, and then ultimately dying. So yeah, they have a 99% chance of dying. Both of them are going down, no debate. Well, that's it. Who I think will or will not die in The Boys Season 5. But we'll see. Hopefully none of them die except for the bad guys. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. See ya.